good afternoon and welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Daniel Charette. Daniel is the Chief Operating Officer of Charbone Hydrogen. Charbone Hydrogen is a Canadian green hydrogen player, predominantly looking at the hydropower to hydrogen pathway. And Daniel is going to be one of our speakers at the World Electrolysis Congress in the North America edition, which is taking place in Boston in September. So welcome, Daniel. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Nadim, for the invitation.
So yeah, interesting to see your background over 26 years in renewable energy, a lot of experience in the wind sector, and now you've come to the hydrogen space. So maybe if you could give us an introduction into sort of the projects and the work that you're doing with Charbone.
Yeah, currently, yeah, you're right, absolutely right. I did spend about 25 years in wind energy sector when it's all started back here in North America 26 years ago. And we decided to fund Charbone Hydrogen back 4 years ago to be a new producer of hydropower, as well as combine with green hydrogen production. Since the last 2 years, we decided to refocus all our activities toward green hydrogen only and become a green hydrogen producer that is deploying and developing a network of 16 modular and scalable projects across North America, with 5 projects planned in Canada and 11 in US. And right now we are constructing our first project, which start with a less than 2 megawatt project here in Quebec. It will be deployed in 5 phases up to almost 35 megawatt with 25 megawatt electrolysis capacity and capacity of liquefaction as well.
Yeah, and why the hydropower route? What is it that attracted you to that power source?
Here in Quebec, 90% of all the energy production is with hydro, so about 10% is with wind. So that's made the grid almost 100% green, and make a reliability that you don't get with only intermittent and variable renewable energy with wind or solar. So it's all about a capacity factor and a 24/7 green hydrogen production. So Charbone aim for all the projects to be connected to the grid network, so we have access to different sources of power all the time, 24/7, to get a stabilized production of green hydrogen.
Yeah, and therefore sort of maximize the utilization of your electrolyzers. And what are the sort of the ranges of prices that you get for your electricity, and are they integrated into the project? You mentioned the stages that you're building your hydropower plant. Is it a new hydropower plant?
No, these are existing hydropower plant generally, or the use of zero emission power source. That could be like, if I give the example of Ontario or Illinois or even New Brunswick in Canada, the majority of the power over there is produced from nuclear. So nuclear is still considered as zero emission and low carbon intensity. So that would be providing some of the electrolyzers with the right approach to low carbon intensity. Hydropower here in Quebec is, I will not employ the word cheap, but I would say that it's a low cost energy compared to other markets. What we've been discovering, I would say, and this is part of the opportunity that we're looking at across United States and Canada, is where are the best price of that renewable energy and to be connected to the grid. Each of those utilities have their own pricing structure. So the price of hydrogen from electrolyzers will be highly based on the cost of that renewable power, making my life a little bit tougher, because none of these states or province will have the same hydrogen cost based on the renewable energy prices.
And what are sort of the price points you're looking at with hydropower?
Here in Quebec, it will be probably in a range of, at the gate, just above probably in it. Yeah, I would say that we are looking at 60 kilowatt in average to produce, compress, and store the hydrogen. So the cost here in Quebec is actually in the range of 7 cents per kilowatt.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make a base price in the range of $4 per kilowatt. But then you need to add the CapEx, the OpEx of the balance of plant, overhead and profit, and all the other price components, plus the delivery. So right now we are avoiding to make a final pricing without having started that Sorel-Tracy facility by the end of September.
Yeah. And you mentioned sort of 16 potential projects, and I assume they're looking at, and I think the max would be around 30 megawatts. Why are you looking at that kind of smaller project scale? What's attractive for you?
I would say that generally our concept is to start with a 1 ton per day to 2 ton per day, depending on the existing actual industrial users of hydrogen in the area, and migrating those from a more dirty hydrogen to green hydrogen. Some of the project may start in the range of a 2.5 megawatt electrolyzer, while others could start, because of larger market and larger demand, with a 5 megawatt electrolyzer. But the project that we develop here in Quebec, we are starting with initially, and this project has been initiated like 30 months ago. We did learn already from that experience, and this is why we decided that all the other project will start with a minimum of 1 ton per day. But the project in Quebec is based on 5 phases. So maybe some of those other projects will grow with the market. So it's very difficult for me actually to tell you what size will be those projects. Some of those projects will be set in very large cities where not the industrial sector of today, but where the upcoming sector of heavy mobility may require less delivery distance. So in some city in North America, maybe like Los Angeles, maybe like Detroit, Chicago, New York, Atlanta, because of the area covered by those cities, and the fact that it may be difficult to interconnect very large facility, some of those smaller nodes may be installed around those cities. So, but right now the plan is between, I would say, 2.5 up to 30, 50 megawatt within the next 5-7 years, depending of each of the markets. So Charbone don't want to deliver the hydrogen further than a certain distance, and this is what we are looking when we are selecting sites. So we have already announced one site in Manitoba, another site in Nova Scotia. We have another site that has been announced in Detroit, and now we are overlooking New York, Illinois, Wisconsin, Indiana, California, Ontario, New Brunswick, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, a lot of sites. So yeah, the strategy obviously being close to your customers. And in terms of customers, how has the market reacted, and what are your thoughts around building the demand profile for clean hydrogen?
I guess right now there's a demand everywhere in North America for low carbon intensity and green hydrogen. The problem right now is there's not enough to reply to the market. So, and as we're not producing a very large amount of hydrogen, for us selling that small amount of hydrogen, it's not a big challenge. The demand is there. Many companies and many industrial users, they already have a demand on their side to comply with the government new regulation on requests for quotation, where you need to check that box. How do you green your production? And this is giving them more points as they want to be the winner of those requests for proposal for government contracts. We do understand that everyone would like to see green hydrogen, and the advantage that we have is that we can build those small facility a couple of miles away or kilometers away from the actual user, minimizing the distribution cost.
Yeah, it's understood. It sounds like a great strategy and innovative, and certainly in terms of the pathway of using hydropower. So it's been fascinating to talk to you, Daniel. We wish you all the success with your projects and your project pipeline and getting the first project up and running. We look forward to learning more when you speak in Boston. So many thanks, Daniel. Thanks for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you very much, Nathan.